So, who are you and where are we?
I'm Ben Batten. We are on Fiddler's Green Farm here in Upper Maryland.
Fantastic. And where are we precisely?
We are in our barn that is over 100 years old, sitting here on the half pipe I built.
When was this built?
The barn is late 1800s, early 1900s. The half pipe was late 1900s.
That's funny. And how long has your family been here?
My family has owned this property since 1948.
Wow. Okay. So this is grandparents?
Yeah, great-grandparents, actually. So in 2018 or so, I was leaving kind of a corporate gig and deciding which direction I wanted to go in. And I decided I wanted to see if we could make more of a business on the farm to help just pay for it, honestly, to help support the farm so it wasn't just basically a net gain on our family, not a net drain, which my parents have been really great stewards of this place for a long time, but it's a lot of work and it costs money. And if it's not bringing any money and it's just costing you money, it's eventually you're going to have to get rid of the place. So we started looking into other to options of what we could do, and that was right around the time of the hemp bill passing in 2018. So we started in 2019 growing hemp for basically I'll try to keep this brief, but we thought we were going to be growing these huge tall plants, for fiber and for stalks, like the cellulose and everything. And so I went to a conference and everyone's like, there's not money in that yet. No one can even process it. You're going to be growing these little guys, basically, different varieties of marijuana, essentially, like a different cannabis strain. And I'm like, okay, well, I've seen that done before. So we did it in 2 acres. It was a lot, but it got us farming, essentially. It got us shifted into a mindset of using the fields, using the land, using the barn. We basically turned it into a giant drying space and used the entire space twice in the drying process. It took 6 weeks. It took forever. So that got us started farming, but it didn't take up a lot of space. We have probably 35 acres of fields. The farm itself is about 100 acres. Lots of wooded areas. My dad has put a lot of pieces of it into forest restoration and tree banks throughout the years. And then we've got a couple streams going through. Anyway, we have about 35 acres. The hemp was only taking up 2 initially, and that was way too much. We'd been renting the other fields out, and we decided we wanted to start managing them ourselves. We didn't really know what they were doing on them, and being having our hemp certified organic, and then on the other side of the field, they're doing whatever that they were doing with their conventional rotation of corn and soybean was not working with the overall ethos of what we wanted to do here. So we basically started taking the fields back and transitioning them all to certified organic.
So what is you mentioned the ethos of what you're doing here. What is that?
Yeah, so I think for us, it's really important to work with natural cycles of the environment and help guide, but not rule with an iron fist kind of thing. There's not always an easy solution that I think most people fall into the trap of just put it's an easy fix to put chemicals on it, right? Or synthetic fertilizers or anything. I feel like that takes the nuance, the skill out of it almost. It's simple, right? But you pay for it in the long run, the lack of nutrient dense food, honestly. So in switching from adding something that wasn't hemp, we wanted to provide a food product. We had started down the road of doing distilling grains. We still do some rye for distilling, and at one point we had the idea to do a on-farm distillery, which one day maybe still.
So you started off getting into farming, working in hemp, and then you turned to the gold rush that is grain.
Yeah, right. No. Yeah, so I mean, we decided honestly just out of like personally just being put off by how farming is done, like around here, with the soybean and corn rotation. Like I grew up here and I never wanted to be a farmer, because I saw what it was like. Like there's a disconnect between the land and the things that come out of it. You know, like people don't eat the things that are growing in these fields mostly around here. Like they feed them to something. Maybe.
What is mostly, it's just corn and soya?
Pretty much. I mean, people mix in the occasional wheat rotation, but it's, you know.
It's all for seed and fodder?
Yeah, or shoot, I don't even know, honestly. I'm not even sure if it goes to.
So would you say that there's a lot of agriculture in the region, but there's not a whole lot of relationship to the land?
Yeah, and, you know, that's oversimplifying it. There is a lot of agriculture in the area, but there's a disconnect with the land, I would say. And it was something that I was never drawn to. I've always been, you know, an environmentalist, like loving the outdoors, and been being drawn to just more organic practices, not necessarily all organic anything, but the idea of working with the land versus fighting it all the time, and trying to figure out how you can balance the natural cycles of the environment with what you need to get out of it, you know, like.
So how have you been figuring out that relationship when it comes to grain?
Yeah, so figuring out our relationship with grain, the whole thing has been a learning process. I didn't grow up a farmer. So good news is I didn't have to unlearn any bad habits, but I had to learn everything. So it's been a balance of trying to take information from other farmers, not so much in the area, but some, and then what we just try and fail with. So our goal here is to create like nutrient dense food, right? And so a big part of that starts in the soil. Like we have to have a biologically active soil. And so we've tried to do some like organic fertilizers. We were certified organic. I don't know how we talk about this because we just stopped
practices.
Yeah, we just stopped being certified, but we're still.
Yeah, so we implement a lot of the organic practices.
Yes. Yeah.
That's always a very tough one.
I don't know. We don't need to talk about it. I just or include it, but we just stopped being certified. Like
certified
because the paperwork.
Yeah, because they're ridiculous
bullshit
for it. And reality, if you just
it's a marketing tool, and if you're not using it to market, it doesn't do anything. Like we're not selling any of our stuff as certified organic because people just don't care. We're telling them how we grow it, right? And it's not anything that anybody can get around here. So
that's my favorite soundbite, by the way, the whole thing, because it's so hard to explain that to people where they're like, well, I buy everything organic. I'm like, yeah, that's the lowest common denominator thing. It's like LEED certified for buildings. Like that's just for the government to do that and for people to get away with stuff. Reality is, if you know the right questions to ask, you're going to find that farmers can do a better job, and it won't be certified organic because, somebody lobbied for like this one thing to be added in.
The biggest thing is, I mean, because cover crops are so important in an organic system, in all systems, it's really expensive to get certified organic cover crop mixes. Most of the time they don't exist. Like you basically have to apply for a waiver anyway to use, certain mixes because they just don't, like they can't create a 10 species cover crop mix.
They give off single ones.
Yeah, like you can get a single, like you can, if you hunt enough, you can probably find certified.
What a cover crop is, what its role is, and what's included in.
Sure. So, cover crops is one of those hot words right now, right? Everybody wants to grow cover crops. essentially a cover crop breaks up your cycle of whatever your cash crop is, right? Whether it's corn or soybeans, or in our case, wheat, small grains. And it allows you to put a diverse mix of plants back into the soil so that your soil can become more highly functioning biologically. That's the way I look at it. I mean, for us, we're fighting with years of conventional farming, so we have a ton of compaction. So one of the things our cover crop does is work towards breakup compaction. So we use radishes. Daikon radish is one of the big ones that just grows really big and just creates space in the soil. You want to get like air back into the soil, right? Another one is just creating I don't want to say cover, creating a canopy so that weeds and, not invasive species can't thrive. That's easier said than done. Like there's not like a cover crop mix is just going to fix it all. But it's creating a system that includes that so that you're constantly changing what's out there and giving the soil a diverse group. Now, one of the biggest things in organic farming is, one of the biggest tools is tillage, to be certified organic, right? And for the soil biology, it's almost the worst thing you can do. Like there's a lot of people who think it's worse than spraying an herbicide, because you're breaking the microbial, like fungi and the mycorrhizal networks up every time you do that. And that is vital for the whole soil food web to be successful, right? You need the mycorrhizal, you need I'm not a soil scientist, but there's a bunch of stuff in there that are important. And when you till, it basically destroys a lot of that. Now, some of the good stuff is still in there, right? So we are working towards having a no-till organic system. And because we're starting from very little organic matter, zero biology in our soil, we're planting each time we put in a cover crop or a cash crop, we're planting with a drip system that is putting biologically complete compost extract in the ground.
I need to come up with a graphic that shows the difference between like when you till, because it's also the depth of tillage, right? When you're in your backyard garden, not as big of a deal if you till like the top like 3 to 4 inches of like topsoil, as opposed. So I think people have a hard time understanding what tilling even really.
Sure. Yeah.
Around your lawn, and people know how to aerate.
Yeah.
Plants come up, but the same thing. I would love to see it in a graphic where you could see what tillage, and you see all these like little lines, microbial, whatever, it's just getting torn up, as opposed to like a daikon radish just being a little like airbag that moves them. Right. But like you need that aeration, you need that oxygen.
The tilling also creates a hard pan, right? So there's a shelf, like ours is a couple inches down from past years of doing that, or even plowing, right? It can be a deeper shelf from plowing, where it's just slick hard. When we have clay soil here, it's literally like almost concrete under there. So getting through that is our biggest challenge now, so that root systems can get deeper. And I mean, ultimately your goal with one of the results is being able to withstand droughts like we're in right now. Like our plants are okay. The wheat it's about to be harvested anyway. So, but being able to have the tilth in the soil so that roots can dig down deep is key. We harvest our wheat in usually late June, early July, based off of maturity and dryness. Essentially, it needs to be a certain dryness just for the threshing to occur, which is separating the kernels from the heads. And so you need a certain moisture level for that to occur, and then you obviously just need it to be dry in general. We'll bring that back and we'll put it into our large grain bin, which is has a perforated floor in the bottom, and we can dry down that grain further. That's why it's not as vital for us to get the moisture spot on out in the field. It's really key to get the moisture spot on before you put it into any kind of long-term storage. And so once it gets to a certain moisture level, then it becomes stable, and we can then store it into what we use for our pest management is they're basically large Ziploc bags, and so they go inside of our super sacks, and we're able to remove the oxygen and then pump CO2 into those bags, seal it, and then basically, as long as another pest like mice or something doesn't chew through the plastic, it will kill anything that's in there. So that's how we manage our weevils, which is the biggest pest for wheat and small grains.
Cool. What do weevils look like?
Oh, they're these little tiny black insects. They kind of have a weird looking almost like a proboscis from a bee, but it's always sticking out. I don't know. They're nasty little creatures, and they can infest a grain bin or bag really quickly. They actually, I take that back. They usually take a year. You won't see them because they're brooding and they're figuring out how much they can eat and lay eggs, and then all of a sudden they'll explode. Usually the following summer is when they really explode. So
where does this go? What do you take me through? You taking me through a little bit of harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
Take me through after you harvest, and then just start off with you put them into these bags, and then where's the journey from there?
So once they're in the bags, we store them in our barn, and some of them will go to some of that will be bagged into 50-pound bags that we sell to local bakeries and millers, and some of it we have milled ourselves or for us by other millers, and we sell the whole wheat flour. The majority of our fields right now is an ancient variety called Turkey Red. It came from Ukraine a couple hundred years ago. So it's a hard winter wheat. It's a long-standing variety. The genetics of this variety have been around for a couple hundred years. I mean, it was developed in Ukraine hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and it came over here in the last probably 100 or 200 years and has remained relatively the same aside from local adaptations from seed saving. So we take that, we have a miller mill it into whole wheat flour. They have it sifted down a little bit to more of an all-purpose flour, and those are the two varieties of flour we get from that.
Why did you pick it?
We picked it because we wanted to have an ancient variety. We like the ultimately the taste. It has such a rich, full flavor when you make something with it. It is incredible how much more that can come from baking with it than your run-of-the-mill bleached white flour. I know that when we go to the store around here, there's no other local option for one of the staple foods in our grocery stores, which is bread and all the other products you can make with flour, right, and grain. So that's the biggest interest to me. That's kind of driving what we're doing. Right now, we're not making a whole lot of money on it. It's hard to do. It is definitely about quantity a lot of times, and we want it to be much more about quality. That is definitely part of our ethos as well. It's we're not looking at dollar signs all the time. We are looking at the quality and what is the best end product, honestly, for our customers and us. I mean, I want to be able to walk out in my field and eat what we are making. I can go out there and I can throw a handful in my mouth without any worries.
What do you feel like the modern farmer needs to look like? Have you guys done other things too to adapt to since 2018? Farming used to be this, but what is it?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I see a farm has to at least work towards is having value-added products. I know that there's ways of doing commodities, right? But you have to be so big. You have to have so much space, and it's not feasible for most. That's why there's fewer and fewer farms, right? And bigger farms. I feel like we need to go back to a smaller, less centralized food economy. And that's it's really hard for us to find a place to get our wheat milled. Like, we want to get a mill at some point so we can have control over that, but also because it's hard to find someone because there aren't any mills anymore. There used to be something crazy like 100 mills in our county alone. And there's one that the county is kind of keeping running, but it's not operational for us. So getting back to your question, I had another thing to say about it. What was the question again?
Well, I was also going to point out too, like slaughterhouses, like we have pretty much in every form of it, we've had like all these shortages. The question though was, the modern farm.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's key for a modern farm to be able to take what they grow and take it to market. They don't always have to be to retail. Like, you don't have to be at farmers markets, but get a wholesale, relationship in place with local grocers or something along those lines. I think that's vital because so little of the end dollar that when you spend in the grocery store, there is a tiny fraction of that goes to the farmer who grew it. And the only way to get more of it is to do more of the steps in the process. So you really have to have the mindset of like creating a whole brand, honestly. Like, I hate to say it, but like, you really do need to take the product to its near final form and add value to every step of the way. And I think that is how, today's farmers can be successful. It's still hard. It's not like we're not killing it by any means. It's still a labor of love. It will always be, but it's worthwhile for sure.
You said value add products. I've heard before that it takes a civilization to make a loaf of bread. How do you feel about that line?
And interesting. Well, I certainly appreciate that there is skill involved in every step, right? The miller is a skilled position that takes a long time to learn. It's hard to grow, which is also a very skilled position and takes a long time to learn. I'm not even close to knowing enough. But it's helpful to have different professionals in the chain, right? In like the production chain. But you want them to be regional, right? So that you do have this, more robust regional food economy and something that is resilient to fluctuations, right? And so you need skilled people in each section, if you will. But it's also more and more accessible these days to do it at a small scale and do a lot of those pieces yourself, right?
Do you like farming?
That's a funny question. Yeah, I do. I mean, I love being here on our farm daily. It's not always, it's definitely a love-hate relationship sometimes because you are bound to it, the results, but you also get what you put into it, right? And like, you get to see the hard work pay off. And one of my favorite things is just it's constant problem solving, right? And the problems, I always say there's good problems and there's bad problems. And good problems are when you're trying to figure something out, like how to make something work better and more efficiently, like creating a system. That's what I really love. Really hate when things start breaking and then your problem is fixing something that should have already been working. So you're just taking some steps back at that point just to get back to level ground.
Have you had that happen recently?
As a matter of fact, we just got our combine working again. I mean, pretty much we have a very old, it's like 1970s combine. It breaks all the time. There's something, and I'm not a combine mechanic, but I have gotten to know a good bit my way around it. I think that's part of what most independent farmers are good at, is figuring stuff out. Oh, that's time.
Pause.